What's going on, UFC fans, MMA fans? More importantly, it's going to be a great show tonight. The Affliction card, Affliction Band it's called. It's going to be awesome. And of course the UFC was up to their devious moves of putting on a show the same night as Affliction, trying to stomp out the dissent. I'm not really a fan of what they're doing. I think it's really kind of childish, really vindictive of Dana White. Let the other crew have their day. But whatever, it doesn't matter. I think a lot of people are still going to buy the Affliction card. I know I will. I'll certainly be flipping back and forth. But I only have about 10 minutes for this video. I know I haven't made a video in a long time. I apologize for that, for anybody that was waiting for one. But it's just, a variety of things. I don't want to get into it and bore you. It's the summer. What are you going to do? As far as, I just wanted to address really quickly before I do the two main events, which is all I really have time for. The whole Rampage situation. Excuse me. I mean, I love Rampage. He's a great fighter, but everyone's so shocked. I mean, the guy howls and comes out with a chain. There's a lot of pain in his background. So am I shocked that something like this would happen to Rampage? No. I hope whatever's going on with him, I hope it's fixed, or I hope not that it's fixed necessarily, but that he gets whatever help he might need, or who knows what's going on. I don't want to speculate. And it's not a race thing. It's just, the guy's been through a lot of shit. I'd be surprised if some rich white guy, if this happened to him with an easy background and never had any problems in their life, if that happened. But for Rampage, who knows? I mean, he's really been a pretty straight-laced guy for a long time here, and I saw the interview with him. He didn't look right to me right before the show, or the whole incident, excuse me. So I don't know what more to say on that. We all love Rampage. Hopefully Rampage comes out stronger at the back end of this. But, I'm not surprised when these things happen to relatively uneducated people who punch each other in the face for a living. No offense, we all love MMA, but come on. And I know that's going to get me some heat, but sorry. When Bill Gates does that, I'll probably be surprised. He's a douchebag, but, come on. Alright, now, main card of the UFC event. We got Brandon Vera on there. We got, I don't know who else is fighting. It seemed like a pretty stacked card. Oh, yeah, Frankie Edgar's fighting. Who is he? How can I not remember who Frankie Edgar's fighting? But, okay, I'm just going to do the two main events. Anderson Silva versus James Irwin. I don't get it. Anderson Silva is a huge 185er. He's not, now if this were a guy, a welterweight, coming up to 205, that would be huge. Like if George St. Pierre came up to fight at 205, that would really be something to me. That would really be an underdog story. To me, this is not an underdog story. Anderson Silva is going to have a hard time losing this fight. He's better in every aspect. This guy's a Muay Thai guy. Anderson Silva's a great Muay Thai striker. Anderson Silva's clinch is as devastating as anybody in the game. Anderson Silva's ground game is spectacular, even though we don't get to see it very often. So, where does James Irwin win this fight? I don't know. I'm not going to claim to sit here and say I've seen every fight James Irwin's ever had, but where does he win this fight? So I'm going to have to say, just based on the fact that Anderson Silva is Anderson Silva, and James Irwin is an accomplished Muay Thai guy, but he's a Muay Thai guy, and he's going against the best Muay Thai guy, I'm going to have to go with Anderson Silva. I think he's going to get him in a clinch, and, this fight's probably going to stay on the feet, so I don't see anyone outpointing Anderson Silva. So, with that said, I'm going to move over to Affliction, the much better of the two cards, as far as I'm concerned. The UFC card's pretty stacked. But I'm going to do the main event here, and the reason I'm going to do it is because my pick is different than almost everyone else's on the planet, and it's not because I'm a UFC fanboy by any stretch of the imagination, but I always have thought and still think to this day that Tim Sylvia is going to win this fight against Fedor Emelianenko. I like Tim Sylvia's length. He's a lot bigger and longer than Fedor. I shouldn't say lankier, but he's certainly a lot bigger and longer. I think he's going to be able to keep Fedor at a distance, and I think he's going to be able to keep Fedor from imposing his will on this fight. Now, I believe there's going to be times during this fight where Fedor is going to be able to impose his will. I just think that Tim's going to be able to keep him off balance enough to be able to create distance, and if Tim is able to create distance in this fight, Tim's going to outpoint Fedor. So the question is, can Fedor, get in on Tim and take Tim down? If he's able to do that, he's going to be able to finish this fight really any way that he wants to. He'll sub you, he'll beat you into the ground, he can do a lot of things. I just think Tim sprawls really good, and I think he's going to have a hard time, Fedor's going to have a hard time taking Tim down. So with that said, the trouble for Fedor is, can he outstrike Tim on the feet? I just think that Tim's too long. I'm not saying that Fedor doesn't have better striking, which you can argue, you can debate that. I'm not really interested in doing that because I don't think it matters with a guy as big as Tim. So essentially, I'm saying yes. I think Tim's always been a bad matchup for a guy like Fedor, a smaller heavyweight as far as his height and his length. And I think that this is still, to this day, a bad matchup. Now, if Fedor comes out and really impresses, will I be surprised? No. But I shouldn't say that. Will I be shocked? No. Will I be surprised? Yes. I will be surprised if Fedor wins this fight. And I'm not saying he's not a better fighter than Tim, but he's, certain fighters lose to fighters who aren't as good as them based on matchups. We've seen it a million times in the sport. And I just think that Tim's going to be able to create that distance and keep Fedor on his heels. So with that said, those are my two picks for the two main events. My little spiel on Rampage, and I'm also excited to announce that I will be back for every card from now on. I will not be missing any cards. I know I've said it before, but I really feel that way now. I'll be going down to Atlanta for the UFC in September. I think it's 88. And UFC 87 is going to be spectacular. So let's all get excited for that, and I will have a video for that card in the coming days. So enjoy tonight's events, and sorry this is so late, but I wanted to get on record before Tim won, and then I come out and say I was going to pick Tim and everyone calls me a liar. Okay, so have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.